Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, part of the Repurpose Network, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentiss Thompson, and what we do, we talk to real people, pastors, leaders, engineers, tech people, manufacturers, worship leaders, all about church, technology, and provide solutions for a successful Sunday morning service. You ready? It's time to take a ride. Let's go.
Yes. Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in, to join us, to be a part of. Give yourself a round of applause. You should. Hey, how are you guys doing? If you are new here, we do this every week. We try to make your church service amazing. I provide the information, you do the implementation. That's it. So that's all I can do. I can't come do it unless you bring me in to do it. But I'm here to serve the culture, church culture, faith-based organizations, pastors, leaders, musicians, tech. I'm here to serve. That's what I'm here to do. So if you're new here, thank you for being here. In the comments, like send me like what country you come from, what continent you're on, what city or state. Thanks again for the birthday wishes that keep coming in. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, review, and share. This really helps with our numbers, and I really appreciate if you took the time to do that. One of the brothers at my church rolled up on me and said, "Hey, listen, I've been sharing your show." I was like, shout out to Eddie. Eddie, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. So this is the third and final part of our Christmas series, One Voice, One Service. Yeah. One voice, one service. I got so many comments last week about a section I did about caring for your volunteers. I decided to expound on it to make it a little bit more involved, deeper, because I really want people to really understand what happens when people serve and why it's important to go beyond just the technical and musical abilities of a person. So while Christmas is beautiful, it's joyful, it's full of a celebration for some, full of celebration for some, but for others it's a season of buried memories, of loss, of pressure, of reminders of what or who they no longer have. But here's the truth. Some of the people serving in our Christmas services are serving with silent pain. This episode is for the leaders, for the pastors, directors, the volunteers, the people who hold everything together during the busiest time of the year while holding their hearts together. While holding their hearts together. Today, we're talking about how to lead with compassion. How to lead with compassion. How to support people emotionally, spiritually, and practically. That's the thing that people just don't want to take it out of context. Yeah, you can pray. Yeah, we can seek the Lord, but there's some practical things that can be applied. And more importantly, is how to create a Christmas service culture that honors the hearts of the people who make it happen. One thing I will say is this. Every volunteer has a story. Every volunteer has a story. In Psalms 34:18, it says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Christmas hits people in different ways. I shared in my last episode how I lost my father on Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas Day. This holiday season it's not just my father, but now it's my mother who's no longer with us. It's my sister-in-law who's no longer with us, who loved the holidays like I miss my sister Jackie. I never called her my sister-in-law. She was always my sister. She was the person I could call 8 o'clock in the morning. I was the person she could call 8 o'clock in the morning. We were each other's sounding boards. Christmas hits different for me. And it hits different for people in different ways. Some have lost loved ones during holiday season like I have. Some grew up in abusive or chaotic homes where Christmas was just traumatic. Some just feel lonely because their families are far away, especially if you're in the military. Some feel pressure they could never talk about. They could never talk about it. And some simply feel empty even while serving. Leadership requires discernment, not assumptions. Because just because people show up every day early and smiles doesn't mean they're not hurting inside. I can tell you that much. As leaders, we must create a culture where it's okay to say, hey, this time of year is hard for me. And it doesn't matter how much you need them to serve. You have to serve them first. Them, the volunteer, the person first. Ministry is not just about the service. It's about the soul saving the service. I heard this leader say this a long time ago. He said, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Compassionate leadership starts with presence. Romans 12:15 says it like this: rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to fix everyone's life. You just need to be present. How about that? You just need to be present. Presence is powerful. Presence communicates. I see you. No matter. You're not alone. I had a friend, and she said to me, she said, when one of my friends, someone in their family dies, I kind of stay away because I don't want to be in the way. And I said to her, why? She says, well, I don't know what to say. I said, you ain't got to say nothing. There's nothing to say. Unless God leads you to say something. But this being there means something. I remember I went to my mentor's, his mother transitioned. And I didn't tell him I was coming. And the funeral was way out in New Jersey. That's when I lived in New York. And I drove out there. I didn't tell him I was coming. I just went. And his nephew hugged me so hard. He was like, P, you have no idea, man. It was good to see a familiar face from the neighborhood, from my era. And you just be present. Here's what compassionate leadership looks like during the holidays. You check on people before checking off the task list. Just ask simple questions, 4 words. How are you doing? 5th word, really? How you doing? Really? You got to make room for grace. If someone is overwhelmed, what you don't want to do is push. You want to support. That's what you want to do. Give people permission to sit out of a song or miss a rehearsal or take a Sunday off if they need it. You got to encourage breaks. Burnout is real. Burnout is so for real. You got to protect your team from the overload. Overworking a hurting person, this is what I call it. It's called spiritual negligence. If you a pastor and you leaning on a person so hard that they think they can't take a Sunday off because it's going to upset you, you are not leading. You are an abuser. Because it should not be that way. Because leadership is not pressure. Leadership is covering. Even when it's uncomfortable for you. Even when it's uncomfortable for you. So you're probably asking this very, very important question. How to create a supportive team culture. I got scripture for it. Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens. And in this way you fulfill the law of Christ. A healthy team culture is intentional. It doesn't happen accidentally. It doesn't happen fly by night. You don't trip over a rock. You can't find, no. It's intentional. It's intentional. Let me give you a couple of pointers. One, I got your attention. Here's how you create a safe environment during Christmas. Number one, you normalize emotional honesty. You let your team know it's okay to speak up even if they're struggling. Even if they're struggling. Number two, create a no judgment zone. Nobody should feel weak for needing help. Nobody should feel weak for needing help. Number three, allow role adjustments. Some volunteer just needs a lighter duty for a day. Camera instead of stage managing, pro presenter instead of front of house, greeter instead of production, hospitality instead of heavy lifting. These are all parts of care. Matching the role to their emotional capacity is wisdom. It's not weakness. And pastors, you have to allow your leaders to check in on their teams. One person cannot shepherd everyone. Team leaders, you got to train them. You got to train your team leaders to ask good questions, to show care, to follow up. Because some people are natural leaders. Some people are trained leaders. Some people are, based on their emotional temperament, they're like a bull in a china cabinet. They mean well. It's time it don't work all the time. I always say this. You can be a good coach, but you always have different players. You can't coach everybody the same. You can't evaluate everyone the same. You as a coach, especially when on team sports, you have to understand the player and the role of the player. You have to know what gets that person going. Sometimes it's encouragement. Sometimes it's harsh words. The thing that a lot of times pastors don't get, and I say this to pastors directly, you got to celebrate the small wins. You got to celebrate the small wins. You know why? Let me tell you. Encouragement is healing. You got to affirm a job well done. Not ear candy. I'm talking about for real. You got to thank them publicly and privately. When I worked at Sam Ash back in what's been like late 90s, in 1 year, I became the number 7 salesman in the country with over 45 stores. And what I would do every Saturday, I would buy the entire stock staff lunch. I would tell them, hey, I'm going to Burger King. Everybody give me their order. Out of my pockets, my dime. Every Saturday, I would bring them lunch. When something new came in, when something needed to be done on the floor, when I became a manager, I always thanked them publicly and I always did stuff for them. So when new items came in that no one knew about, they would call me to the basement. Hey, Pete, come downstairs. This piece just came in. This piece just came in. This is not out yet. This piece just came in. We're going to put your name on it. Then I would go upstairs and call my customers, my high-end customers. And because I was already in the music business, I knew what people had. I know what people had in their studios. Yeah. So that small win for them was like, hey, I see you. Good looking. I appreciate you, man. I ran into one of the stock guys maybe a couple of years ago. He walked up to me. He said, man, you don't remember me, right? I said, yeah, I remember you. He thanked me. He thanked me. He said, yo, man, you were the nicest guy to me. Nicest guy to me. And I really, really appreciate just the burger, the quarter pound, the Whopper. It was the Whopper. I've appreciated that Whopper every Saturday. I know I could count on you. Celebrate the small wins. Let me tell you something. When someone carries deep pain, it can eat them up inside. Right? Some volunteers aren't just stressed. They're really grieving. For them, that worship song hits a little different. For them, that Christmas service hits a little different. For them, that those decorations trigger old memories. For them, the holiday season seems heavy. So your question is, I never thought of that, Prentiss. So how you support them? You give them an opportunity. You give them permission to step back without guilt. No volunteer should feel trapped by obligation. You shouldn't. They shouldn't. And you shouldn't put that on them. You got to offer them pastoral support, a quick prayer, a moment of listening, a word of encouragement. It goes so far. You don't have to pry for details. You respect people's privacy. You can support without integrating. It's not an integration room. You can support them without that. You can remind them of God's presence, not perfection. You don't need to say the right thing. You just need to remind them gently. God sees you. God is with you. Sometimes that is more than enough. And the one thing I will say is that what people overlook is that your leaders need support too. 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. Let's be real, leaders hurt too. Sometimes people, I'm telling you, the people leading Christmas service are the ones carrying the heaviest emotional weight. So this part is for your leaders. Are you allowed to have a hard holiday too? Does it make you weak? Does it make you unsettled? No, it makes you human. And one thing I can say to you leaders out there, share the load. It's my favorite word, delegate. Ask Moses, see what his dad say to him. Yeah, you need to break this up. You need to delegate. Empower other leaders. Let your team help you. And take some time to rest. Rest is not selfish. It's stewardship. Last time I checked, it's good for you. On the seventh day, the Lord rested. Yeah. Give God the weight you can't carry. He never asked you to hold Christmas together. He asked you to be faithful. He can handle the rest. This is what I'm saying in closing. Christmas ministry is not just about lights, cameras, services, sound checks. It's about the hearts. It's about the hearts of the people. It's about compassion. And when you realize that some are celebrating while others are surviving, we lead with the heart of Christ. And the heart says, I see you. I love you. I'm with you. If you lead with compassion, your team will feel safe. If you lead with grace, your team will feel valued. If you lead with love, your team will feel God. So this is what I want to say to you. As this will be the last show of the year, because I'm taking a break for a couple of weeks and I'll be back in 2026, God willing. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your family. Be gracious and have gratitude. There are so many others you have no idea what would trade places with you in a heartbeat. My mom used to say this all the time to me. She said, you complain that you have 2 pairs of shoes, but there's a man over there with no feet, but that would trade places with you in a heartbeat. So this wraps up our Christmas series. I pray that it helps you. I pray that it helps you not just have a great service, but a healthy team. Make sure you like, subscribe, review, and share. Say, like I always say, keep God first in everything you do, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you next year. The Church Sound